The biggest myth people have when starting a business. So I'm gonna make this episode quick. I want to tell you guys the biggest myth that people have when starting a business. And I want to first start off by telling you about a story about how I started and some of the misconceptions that I had. So one thing that I had when I started a business, I had this belief that I needed to be confident first before I can go and start this business. And what that ended up doing is it kept me in this stuck space, because every time you look on social media, YouTube, whatever it is, Instagram, people tell you, you have to think positive. You have to be confident. And to a degree, I agree with those things, but it's the message that these things send to people like you and myself that leaves us stuck. If someone's telling you, hey, you need to be confident to be successful, what do I do when I'm not confident, right? Do I recite affirmations in the mirror? Do I read some books? Do I look on my past successes? Like, what is it that I must do in order to be confident so that I can start? And that is the biggest myth right there. People think that I have to be confident and then I'll start my business. Well, don't you think that you need to start the business to build confidence? That's the thing people totally skip. And that's why it's so important to develop acceptance and focus on that rather than focus on this confidence feeling. And that's another thing too. People are so caught up in feeling confident, thinking confident, that they forget that confidence can be distilled down to an action. It's something that you do. It's not always something that you feel. Even to this day, there are times where I may not feel confident, but what helps me is that I have great clarity. I mean, like freaking laser light clarity on what actions I should be taking next. Therefore, I don't need to feel confident because I know the path that I'm going. When I go down this path and I'm doing it, it actually starts to build the confidence within me that I need to start to go and execute on the things that I need to take care of, or whatever the case it may be, right? So don't think that, hey, look out world, when your boys start feeling confident and when your girls start feeling confident, it's a wrap, because that's going to keep you on the sideline. And that's probably the thing that's been keeping you on the sideline at this point. So I want to tell you guys 3 quick things that you need to be doing right now to help you overcome this belief that you need to feel confident first. So one of the things is understanding that confidence is something that is built over time. It's not something that I can just boom, give it to you in just a minute or in an hour. It's something that you need to practice. Now, I will give you the skills and the techniques that you need, but it's up to you to implement these things over the course of time to build that confidence. I heard someone else say that confidence is one of those things where it's not owned, but it's rented. And you can think of that as like a house. When you own a house and you pay it off, it's done, right? But with success, with confidence, it doesn't work like that. It's something that you have to gradually put in and day out, right? You have to execute on it on a consistent basis, to be honest. You know, I could even say it to you like this. Growing up, I love bike riding, right? My dad bought me and my brother some bikes, and we used to ride back and forth from our house to the park. And it was something that I did a lot of. It's probably been 5, 6, 7 years since I rode a bike. Now, when I get on it, I may feel a little weird, right? But as I practice it, I will get that confidence back. What does that say about confidence? Well, hey, there are times where it's there and it's great, but there's times where you need to practice on it. And as you practice it, it will eventually start to come back. Even with speaking a language, right? Some people down here in South Florida, they're bilingual. I have a friend, a great friend of mine, that is bilingual, and he'll tell me, hey, I haven't practiced my Spanish in a couple weeks, couple months, whatever it is, and he's feeling a little rusty, and he needs to go and start practicing it more in the household or, you know, in public, whatever it is. It's like that with almost anything. I can honestly say everything that we're doing, the skill sets, all the stuff that we're trying to learn. If you're not practicing it on a consistent basis, the confidence will start to leave you, but you can definitely get it back. And that's where I said with step number 1, gym number 1, confidence is something that's built over time. So don't sweat it if you don't have it now. Know that whether it's next week, next month, a year from now, the confidence that you've been seeking, it will show up. And that's where you start to execute on a high level. Now, number 2, this is why another reason why you don't necessarily need confidence to start. What you want to do when you're starting a business, when you're even working in a 9-to-5 job, you want to find people who already know what to do and surround yourself around those people and have confidence in them. Why is that so important? Well, they're going to know how to get from point A to point C. And by them knowing it, by them going through it already, they're going to be able to give you the skills and guide you through this jungle of entrepreneurship or 9-to-5, whatever the case it may be. Mentorship is something that you don't want to skip on when it comes to price. When you're paying for a coach or a therapist, that is something that you don't want to skip on. I am a firm believer that you get what you pay for. And that's why for me, I charge a high dollar amount. I charge, one could say probably like top 10%, top 1%, top 5% in terms of how much it costs to see me individually. And I do that because I value my time a lot, right? And I feel I should be compensated for that. But also the people that work with me, they're going to get a lot of value in return. And that's something that I feel is an even exchange. So when you're going out and you're finding a mentor, coach, or you're just surrounding yourself by, let's say, mentors, whatever it is, you want to find someone that has expert knowledge in the field that you're in. I can't say that, hey, they need to be in the field 5, 10, 20 years, but they need to be an expert. And if they require you to pay them. Do not skip on that. To a degree, you may even want to tip them, right? Just to show how serious you are when it comes to their time and their services. All right, number 3, and the last reason why you don't need to have confidence to start a business, to start a career, or anything else that you're looking for. And I said this earlier and I'm gonna say it again. Clarity is something that you should really be focused on. Again, for me, there may be times I don't have the confidence feeling, right? I don't feel it. I may not even think that it's possible, but I know exactly what the next step in my life looks like. Therefore, there's no question. I just go out there and I do it. And I know if I do it on a consistent basis, the confidence will later build, as I mentioned in step number 1. So for you, if you find yourself lacking confidence when it comes to starting your business, ask yourself, who are the people that I'm trying to serve? That's a great way to build clarity. What are the problems that they deal with, right? That's another great way to build clarity. And then how am I going to solve those problems for them? That's another great way to build clarity. All these questions that you're asking is designed just to give you this ironclad vision. When you have that, the confidence will come because you know exactly which way you're supposed to be going. Sometimes when you're driving on the highway, there's storms, right? Storms, there may be traffic. If you're up north, it may be snow, like whatever it is, but you have your GPS system locked and loaded. So you know the path that you should be going. And if you need to slow down, that is okay. I'll be the first to tell you that slowing down, taking a detour, like all that stuff, like it's okay, right? One thing that we don't want to do is stop or go backwards, because that would definitely ensure that you would never get to your destination. So those are the 3 things that I want you to focus on when it comes to building that confidence, right? And it actually has nothing to do with confidence to begin with, because there's so many other things that you can do to build the confidence later. So again, these are the 3 things that you can do to help overcome the biggest myth of entrepreneurship, and it's thinking that you need to have confidence first before you go out and start your business. This is Coach Wells. Guys, thank you for listening to this podcast. Like, comment, but definitely subscribe to this podcast. That really helps me out, and it helps other people to find my podcast and all the gems that I give on it. So take care, be safe, and I'll see you guys later.